Well, good afternoon, 7th graders. Moving here into the office today, so we can try to record this. Sorry if there's some background noise today, but hopefully we'll be able to make this work. Our focus today is on solving the equation, check your solution, using multiplication and division equations. And so for the most part, we're going to be showing division by doing fractions. So we have x over 5 equals -2. So this is the idea that x divided by 5 equals -2. Whenever that happens in a division equation and the variable comes first, as in x divided by 5, the x is the first number in the division problem, we multiply those two numbers. So we would do -5 or -2 times 5 is essentially what we would do. -2 times 5. Well, -2 times 5 equals a -10. So I know in this situation, x equals -10. Now here in this one, 3 equals -1.5n. Now to solve a multiplication equation, we always divide. And so I would be dividing to isolate the n, I would divide it by a -1.5, just like I would divide this by a -1.5. So I'm basically taking 3 and I'm dividing it by 1.5. Now I know it's a -1.5, and since this is positive and this is negative, I know I'm going to have a negative answer, okay? But I'll deal with that later. Now you can just plug this into your calculator. I'm going to do it here by hand, just to kind of remind you if you don't have your calculator or whatever. You move the decimal here all the way to the right to make that 15. And since I move this decimal one place to the right, I take the decimal in the 3, and I also move that one place to the right, which makes that 30. Well, I know that 15 times 2 is 30. 30 divided by 15 is 2. But I know that it has to be a negative because the 3 was positive, the 1.5 was negative, n equals -2. All right, moving right along to the third one, -a equals -24. Well, there's no number in front of the a, so I know that's a 1, which means I'm dividing everything by a -1. I'm going to take the -24. I'm also going to divide that by -1 because I'm trying to isolate a. Well, -24 divided by -1 is going to be 24. Because any number divided by itself is going to equal, or any number divided by 1 is going to equal whatever the other initial number is. And the two negatives cancel each other out. It means we have to have a positive answer. A equals 24. All right, moving right along, let's go ahead to the second part of our problems here. -8.5b divided by 5. Well, a couple things to keep in mind. It's a multiplication equation, so I'm going to need to divide. I'm going to divide everything by -8 over 5. So I'm going to take 5 over 1, which is what my 5 is becoming. I'm going to divide that by 8 over 5. Now, I know it's a negative, so I can forget about that now, but I'm going to need to remember to put a negative in my final answer. Now I know that this is going to turn into a multiplication problem of 5 over 1 times 5 over 8. Well, 5 times 5 is 25. 1 times 8 is 8. I end up with 25 over 8. Well, that's an improper fraction. So 25 over 8. 8 can go into 25 3 times. If 8 goes into 25 3 times, there's going to be 1 left over because 8 times 3 is 24. Okay? And my denominator is 8. So my camera's acting a little weird today, but anyway. So I'm going to get 3 1/8, but I know it's a negative because I'm dividing it by a -8.5. So I get -3 1/8. Final answer. All right, 3/8h equals -9. Well, once again, I'm going to take a -9 and I'm going to be dividing that by 3 over 8. So I'm going to take 9 over 1 and I'm going to divide that by 3 over 8. Okay, so, well, that makes sense. Okay, but I've got to multiply it by the reciprocal, which is going to be 9 over 1 times 8 over 3. I can cross-check the 3 and the 9. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 3 times 8 is 24. 1 times 1 is 1. 24 over 21 I know is equal to just 24. And I get my final answer that way. 24. H equals 24. All right, last one. Negative 14 equals 2 over 3x. Once again, to isolate x, I'm going to divide everything by 2 over 3. Now, once again, it's going to, when I look at here, I want to go back to this one first. I almost forgot, this is 3/8, that's a negative 9, so my final answer is going to be a negative 24. We're doing the same thing here. I have to isolate the x by dividing everything by 2/3, as we can see. Now this is a negative, so I'll deal with that later, but this is going to be 14 over 1 divided by 2 over 3, which I know then has to be 14 over 1 times 3 over 2, because I'm multiplying it by the reciprocal. Well, I can cross-check the 14 and the 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So I'm going to take 7 times 3. That's 21. 1 times 1 is 1. And I know 21 over 1 equals 21. But this was a negative 14, and it's a positive 2/3. And whenever I divide a negative number and a positive number together, my quotient, or my final answer, is going to be negative. So our final answer is negative 21. All right, 7th grade. Talk to you later. Bye.